It's time for New Palestine Dragons basketball on newpalradio.com. Today's game is brought to you by All-Star Turf Management, D&D Strictly Storage, Best in Sight Family Eye Care, Pork Vet Solutions, Hoosier Huddle, Real Life Church, and Catch the Shot Photography. Now let's head courtside for all of tonight's play-by-play. New Palestine Dragons basketball is on the air. From courtside at the Dragons Den, New Palestine High School, it's time for tonight's game between the New Palestine Dragons with a record of 10-5. They are 3-1 in Hoosier Heritage Conference play, and the Yorktown Tigers, who come in with a mark of 11-5. The Tigers are 1-3 in Hoosier Heritage Conference play. Along with Mike Petrie, I am Andrew Smith, welcoming you to a big night in the HHC, as essentially all 8 teams will be playing either tonight or tomorrow. 6 of the 8 tonight, 2 more tomorrow in conference games. And so we'll see a lot of movement in the conference standings. And for the New Palestine Dragons, with a 3-1 HHC mark, they sit right now a game back of leaders Mount Vernon and Delta, who play each other tomorrow night. And so the Dragons know that with a victory, they will do 2 things. Number one, likely control their own destiny, depending on what happens between Mount Vernon and Delta if Mount Vernon wins. And number 2, be sitting no worse than second place in the conference tonight, but they're facing a Yorktown team that has really flipped the switch in January. And after struggling with a very young team to start the year, they have really turned it on, having won 6 of their last 7 games, including a big win over Winchester, 56-43 on Tuesday night. This is a really solid Yorktown team coming in. This should be a really good matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a young team and a young coach. Matt Moulton only in his second year, and last year kind of had to take some lumps, as you would expect. They went 11-13. Started off okay this year, but as you mentioned, have flipped the switch in the new year. And a lot of it, you're talking about your 2 leading scorers being a freshman and a sophomore. Kieran Tawari averaging 12 points per game, 3.4 rebounds, and 2.6 assists is just a freshman. And then A.J. Dunn, the sophomore, averaging 15 points and 5 rebounds a game. They're the engine that makes this team go.
And those are the guys that New Palestine will have to deal with. A.J. Dunn had a really good freshman year last year and really led this Yorktown program to take a step. They had struggled for a number of years, and he had a big season. As you mentioned, they won 11 games last year, and they've taken another step. And then they've got some veterans around that haven't tasted a lot of success, and now they have here in the month of January, winning the Delaware County Tournament. You got Walker Moore and J.J. Evans, a couple of football, basketball players that have been starters on both fields for a long time, and they bring a lot of size and strength, and that gives a lot of room for Dunn and Tawari to roam.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got J.J. Evans, the senior, one of the only 2 seniors on the team, is there sort of setting a standard for the rest of the team to follow. But everybody else, you're talking about a junior class that has 5 players on this roster, 3 sophomores, 3 freshmen. It is very young. They've been learning. That it's a team that you expect is going to get better as the year goes on, and they have. And it's a team that is setting themselves up for trying to gain some momentum for next year.
Absolutely, and the Dragons trying to gain some momentum, both of these teams going into the sectional as we hit the final month of the season. For New Palestine, it's kind of like a mini sectional week as they are playing 3 games in 4 nights. They lost to Warren Central on Tuesday. 2 nights ago, beat Heron here by a rather comfortable 89-58 margin. Tonight is senior night. They're holding it early to make sure you get it in, as you know,
right,
with cancellations and things. So even though there are several home games remaining, senior night is tonight. So you'll have the 4 seniors starting, and Eli Stevens, Kyle Bastion, C.J. Oliver, and Matt Brown with Blaine Nunnally. And the thing is that all of those guys have started this season, and so now you kind of have a little bit of a different rotation with Steele Brassfield, your leading scorer, coming off the bench, but that should be a quartet that can really hold its own and set the tone. And then you add a layer to that with Steele Brassfield coming in at some point later on in the first quarter.
Right, and I think it'll be particularly interesting. What we've seen from guys like Eli Stevens and Kyle Bastian in particular is, one, if they can shoot, that is an added bonus. They bring a lot of defensive intensity, and they're able to really physically overwhelm some of their opponents, especially when they can get matched up on a guard. They tend to play from the wing position, and they're kind of tweeners where they're not quite power forwards, not quite really even small forwards in the old sense, but they're bigger than majority of the guards that they're guarding. So from a defensive standpoint, they're able to impose their will a little bit. And I think that's going to be a big deal tonight, because you've got a team in Yorktown that is smaller than what they've seen the last couple of games in particular. And it's also a team that, unlike the last couple of games, we kept talking about how, well, they want to slow the pace down a little bit. And it was funny to me because Coach Whitaker, whenever we brought that up, he kind of pushed back against it. He said, no, we can run. Well, if you want to run, tonight's the night to show it, because this Yorktown team plays at about 50 possessions a game, which is about 20 to 25 fewer than what the last two opponents were doing.
Yeah, and you saw a Heron team on Wednesday, and really I thought that was maybe Kyle Bastian's best game in a long time.
Yeah.
Coming off the bench, pressed into early duty due to foul trouble, but he came off the bench and really did a good job of limiting Heron's best player, and that really took them out of their offense and set the tone for much of the game.
Absolutely, and I think that what you've got, when you can eliminate one or two options from the opposing offense, that locks a lot of teams up. New Pal, on the flip side, that opens things up for their shooters. They've got a lot of guys that are kind of interesting parts, because they don't necessarily bring a lot of offensive attacking prowess, but they can make an open shot. And so if you devote your attention to cutting off Steele Brasfield, to cutting off Blaine Nunnally, that's going to leave some shooters open.
And that's where this team can be strong. They're shooting it at 34% behind the arc, and New Palestine close to 50% for the season, and that's been going up here in recent games. Tuesday's game against Warren Central accepted when they really struggled from the floor against one of the top teams in the state. And this Yorktown team as well, they seem to mirror each other in terms of their percentages and really everything else. They both seem to be hitting their stride as they hit January. The Tigers are 11-5. The Dragons are 10-5. And a big Hoosier Heritage Conference matchup is coming up. We're going to take our first break of the night. When we come back, we'll bring you the starting lineups and tip-off. That all comes up right after this. This is Dragon Basketball on NewPalRadio.com. Our broadcast is presented by All-Star Turf Management.
All-Star Turf Management is the best choice for the lawn you really want. Our superior lawn care services, including fertilizer, weed control, aerations, mowing, and more, are designed to improve and maintain your property season after season. Our combination of using the highest quality chemical products applied by educated, licensed professionals is what your property needs to become a place we both will be proud of. With flexible scheduling and service programs, we have a package that's right for your lawn and your budget. Locally owned and operated by Nathan Johnson, All-Star Turf Management is proud to support the New Palestine community and Dragon Athletics. To learn more or for a free estimate, call All-Star Turf Management at 861-1234 or visit myallstarlawn.com. That's 861-1234 or myallstarlawn.com for All-Star Turf Management. D&D Strictly Storage in New Palestine is your home for storage needs. D&D Strictly Storage offers a wide variety of storage sizes from 5 by 10 feet up to 10 by 30 feet. They also offer indoor and outdoor parking for your boats and RVs. Locally owned and operated by Don and Maria Blackwell, D&D Strictly Storage is who to call for your storage solution. They're located on County Road 400 West, just north of the railroad tracks in New Palestine. Call them at 861-9231. Again, that's 861-9231 for D&D Strictly Storage. Mention this ad and get your second month free with any rental.
Best in Sight Eye Care has been the leader of quality vision and eyewear in New Palestine for more than 20 years. Our experienced doctors, Tim Huffman, Mark Habing, and Colin Clairbout, use the most advanced state-of-the-art technology and eye care products available. At Best in Sight Eye Care, you will find professionals who are dedicated to providing exceptional personal service to everyone who walks through the door. We are conveniently located on Arbor Lane in New Palestine. Just follow US 52 west of Mount Comfort Road. To schedule your appointment, visit bestinsighteyecare.com or call 861-4100. Give your vision the level of care it deserves. Mention this ad for 10% off your glasses purchase.
Now, back to the action on newpalradio.com.
Along with Mike Petrie, I'm Andrew Smith, back with you courtside as the Dragons getting set to take on Yorktown. Let's quickly give you the starting lineups for the Dragons. Eli Stevens, a 6'1 forward. Kyle Bastian, a 6'3 senior, the other forward. Matt Brown is the senior, a 6'4 senior. He's the center. The guards are Blaine Nunnally, a 5'10 sophomore, and C.J. Oliver, a 5'10 senior. For Yorktown, under the tutelage of second-year head coach Matt Moulton, the front line, Walker Moore, a 6'3 senior, Carter Lovelace, a 6'3 junior, and J.J. Evans, a 6'4 senior. The backcourt, Kieran Tawari, a 6'1 freshman, and A.J. Dunn, a 6'1" sophomore. The Dragons will be wearing the white uniforms with red letters and numbers and red and black trim. The Tigers in the road green uniforms with white letters and numbers and white and black trim. Our officials tonight are Bradley Warner, Scott Wilson, and Jordan Beam. And it's about time for tip-off here as they're checking out the basketballs with some of the fans sitting courtside here and making sure that it bounces just fine.
Properly inflated, that's very important.
Absolutely. Kyle Bastian, J.J. Evans in the center jump circle, and it's tipped to Blaine Nunnally, and away we go as the Dragons will have the first possession. Yorktown starts in a 2-3 zone. Bastian with it on the wing, works it up top through Nunnally to Oliver on the left side, back up to the top to Blaine Nunnally. Slide it over to the right side to Bastian as the Dragons try to probe this zone defense. They work it over to Oliver, now to Nunnally. Uses Brown screen, hooks it underneath, looking for Eli Stevens, but the pass went through his hands out of bounds. And the Dragons will turn it over to Yorktown on the first possession.
Eli had a clear path to the basket. He was already looking at that before the ball got there.
Yorktown with possession. Evans right at the top of the key, clears it to Dunn, left side. Looks to explode to the basket, past Oliver, puts it up with the left hand and scores. A.J. Dunn with a quick first step, and he scores the first 2 points.
Goodness gracious. Before Oliver was able to get set in his defensive stance, Dunn was past him.
Nunnally top of the key. Takes one dribble, swings it over to Bastian, back to Nunnally top of the key, fakes the three, goes to Bastian. He'll take the three from the right wing and hit it.
He's been getting hot from back there the last couple of games. Just an extra weapon for the Dragons.
Kyle Bastian gives New Palestine an early 3-2 lead. Tawari, high left for Yorktown. Evans sets the screen. Dragons trap it. They feed into the corner for Dunn. Skips it up top for Carter Lovelace. He'll drive down the lane, have a shot blocked, but the rebound comes into the hands of Walker Moore, who gets his man in the air, puts it off glass and in to give Yorktown a 4-3 lead. Eli Stevens drives inside, puts it off glass, no basket. He's going to be called for a charging foul as Eli Stevens just a little...
I hate that call. Absolutely hate that call.
Just a little bit...
He was a little out of control, and he was up in the air, but yeah, I hate that charge call. It allows the defender to get away with kind of a cheap shot of sliding underneath a player in the air. And
I think there's a few people behind us who agree with you on that one, but Walker Moore will try to lob it inside for J.J. Evans. It's knocked out of bounds by Matthew Brown. Possession will stay with Yorktown, which leads an early 4-3. Played 99 seconds in this basketball game. Tawari, the freshman, will inbound baseline left. Lob it to Evans. It's tipped away and stolen by Nunnally. Brown had the tip. Nunnally with the steal. He goes coast to coast, has a shot blocked, but not legally, as Carter Lovelace fouled him, and Blaine Nunnally will go to the line to shoot a pair.
Yeah, that was one of those ones where Lovelace had the ball, all ball up top, but was just mauling Nunnally underneath as a lot of contact.
It's Blaine to the line. He's an 80% free throw shooter. He'll have a pair and hits the first. Knots the game up at 4. He's played 1 minute and 45 seconds. The Dragons starting 4 seniors tonight. Blaine, the one underclassman. He is a sophomore, and he hits both free throws to give his team a 1-point lead. A.J. Dunn, guarded by Oliver, both wearing number 20, feeds to Tawari right wing. Dragons again trapping some ball screens, sending Matthew Brown out high, and now Eli Stevens comes in to try to knock the ball free from Levis, but the Tigers able to maintain possession. Tawari across the top, guarded by Nunnally, high right. Crosses him over to the baseline, hooks it up top to J.J. Evans. He looks to drive, cut off on the baseline. Underneath for Walker Moore, back out top to Dunn. He'll work it across the arc to the right side, pitch it out to Evans, hands off to Tawari. Guarded by Nunnally. Good defense by the Dragons as Tawari feeds onto the right wing. Dunn hooks it underneath to Evans, gets 2 men in the air, gets the shot to go, and draws the foul. Good patience by Yorktown as they were finally able to get Evans going downhill, and he'll have an opportunity at a 3-point play.
Yeah, what the early defensive rotations show to me are that if it's going to be Carter Lovelace or Walker Moore or J.J. Evans or Garrett Thurman beating the Dragons, they're willing to live with that. What they've been doing is just absolutely making sure that Kieran Tawari does not have a clean look.
J.J. Evans completes the 3-point play, so Yorktown takes a 7-5 lead. Nunnally with it up top. Steele Brassfield has checked into the game. He catches a pass left wing, launches a 3 off the front of the rim, no good. And Evans has the rebound, coming back to the strong side. Quickly ahead to Moore, and he'll bring it to the free throw line, pitch it out to Tawari left wing. Nunnally guards him. Evans sets the screen, and Nunnally picked Tawari's pocket. Blaine will bring it the other way and throw it away. He was trying to find C.J. Oliver filling the left lane on the fast break and threw it over his head out of bounds. A little too quick for the Dragons, and they commit their 3rd turnover of the game.
Yeah, it just a little too fancy on the pass. He was trying to do a little too much. He tried to look one way and throw the other, and I think that might have thrown Oliver off too.
A.J. Dunn across the top, feeds Walker Moore, and now to the high right side to Carter Lovelace. Back to Tawari, feeds Dunn, cutting down the lane, spin move, shoots over Oliver from the center of the lane and scores his 4th point.
Well, you see how dangerous he can be because Oliver stayed with him on that drive. He caught it and was in his hip pocket the entire time. Not a whole lot that CJ can do.
Dragons will work it around. Yorktown has switched to a man-to-man defense as Blaine Nunnally has it up top. Over to the right side, nearly threw it away, but Steele Brassfield rescues it on the right wing. ISO'd with Evans, kicks it into the corner for a catch-and-shoot 3 by Bastian. That's short, long rebound to Brassfield. Scoops it up and scores as he splits a double team.
Pretty just scoop and using the finger roll to get some spin off the backboard.
That stops a 5-0 Yorktown run. The Dragons trail at 9-7. We've just passed the halfway point of the first quarter. Dunn with it in the left corner. Kicks it out to Moore over to Lovelace high right. Back to Dunn, left wing. Guarded by Oliver. He'll swing it around the top to the right side of the lane, pitch it to Lovelace. He'll drive the baseline, now to J.J. Evans, going downhill to the basket. Can't get the runner to go. Gets his own rebound and puts it up with Matthew Brown trying to knock the ball free. Off glass and in. J.J. Evans, his 5th point.
And Matthew Brown, somewhat fortunate there they didn't call a second foul. I think it was enough. Both players kind of had possession of the ball, but could have been a second foul there.
Brown catches in the lane and gets a little baby hook to go. Matthew Brown scores his first 2 on the feed from C.J. Oliver. The Dragon deficit is 2. 3:05 to go as Dunn crosses midcourt. He'll feed Tawari high left with Nunnally guarding him. Hooks it inside, throw it right to Steele Brassfield. He picks it off. Dragons on the run. Brassfield down the lane. Can't get the runner to go. C.J. Oliver with the rebound. His putback is a little too strong. Evans collects the rebound. 60-foot pass to Dunn. He goes high off glass and in. That's a 4-point swing, and Yorktown leads it by 4.
Yeah, Yorktown, we saw this in the JV game. They like those opportunities where they're able to cherry pick and get an easy basket. All their forwards were doing a good job of long outlet passes, and that was one J.J. Evans threw at about 50 feet.
Nunnally up top to Bastian. Slide to the left side. Pull up the elbow, hook it underneath to Brown. His shot over Evans won't go, and Walker Moore secures the rebound for the Tigers.
I like the game plan of going at Evans, but didn't have great position there.
Dunn catches pass up top, drives the lane, puts up a runner, and goes. And A.J. Dunn has 8 points, and Yorktown has a 6-point lead. And Trent Whitaker wants a timeout.
Just like trying to catch lightning.
So the Dragons trailing at 15-9, and a big reason why, A.J. Dunn. But really, that 4-point swing down on the other end, the Dragons missed 2 layups and then give up a run out. And so instead of the game being tied, you're down 4, and then boom, one more stop and score, and you're down 6, and now you're chasing the game.
Chasing the game a little bit, but ultimately it comes down to defensively, you have to get some stops. Again, you know, this is a little bit reminiscent of what we saw, was it just last Friday night?
Yeah.
5 games ago, but last Friday night against Roncalli, where you've got a team that is not a fast-paced team, and they're going to be coming up on 17, 20 points if they can get another couple of baskets. The Dragons have to string some stops together. Yorktown's
made a couple of substitutions. Jacob Grimm and Mason Moulton, a pair of freshmen, into the lineup. Tigers in a man-to-man defense, not only pick and roll down the right side of the lane, dishes it off to a wide-open Matthew Brown on the left side of the basket. He lays it in, and the Dragons back within 4. Tigers will push it, Moulton into the lane. A runner's an air ball. Bastian collects it for New Palestine. Quickly ahead to Blaine Nunnally. It's knocked free from him, out of bounds. It'll stay with New Palestine.
You missed a shot that badly, and it's a mixed blessing being the coach's kid, I assume.
It's definitely the case. As Ian Stevens checks in, replacing Kyle Bastian. Damon Hockett also checked in at that last dead ball for New Palestine. And the inbounds pass to Hockett. As the Dragons set up their half-court offense, Hockett slides it to the left. Tries to feed Nunnally up top. They take that pass away. So to Brassfield in the left block. Turn around. Fadeaway jumper is blocked by Evans. And here come the Tigers on the fast break. And a runner by Jacob Grimm goes off glass and in. And the Tigers lead at 17-11.
Jacob Evans has made a lot of things happen. Even on those missed layup attempts that you were referencing before, a lot of that had to do with Evans.
J.J. Evans this time is beaten by Blaine Nunnally, who it's a runner down the lane for his 4th point. Dragons within 4, 17-13. Yorktown leads, final 50 seconds of the quarter. Tawari bounce pass to Evans, right block. Faces up Brown, skips it over to Grimm on the left wing. He'll send it into the corner. Here's a spin move by Lovelace. He puts it off glass and in. Carter Lovelace with the drive and the score, and Yorktown again leads it by 6.
One thing that's different on Yorktown from their scouting report is there's a lot of different guys that are scoring here so far.
Feed inside to Matthew Brown. Tried to hook it over to Steele Brassfield and just fired it way past him out of bounds. I don't think Steele was expecting that. The Dragons with 4 turnovers, and I think, as you've mentioned, they're struggling to get stops, though. Yorktown has been able to score pretty much at will these last few possessions.
And even with some of their backups in, victimizing some of the Dragons defensively.
Final 10 seconds of the quarter. Yorktown lobs to Tawari, right corner. He'll bring it to the lane, shoot a follow-away jumper from 14, won't go. Brassfield with a rebound. Quickly ahead to Hockett, half-court shot at the buzzer is no good, and that's how the first quarter will end. The Yorktown Tigers open up a 19-13 lead over the New Palestine Dragons behind 8 points from A.J. Dunn. We'll take a break. Come back right after this. This is Dragon Basketball on NewPowerRadio.com. Our broadcast is presented by All-Star Turf Management.
PorkVet Solutions is the best veterinary choice for your swine operation. Our 2 doctors, Matt Ackerman and Dylan Lape, can help you position your pork production system for the 21st century. We provide veterinary and consulting services, herd visits, preventive medicine, and more. PorkVet Solutions is licensed and accredited in 8 states. Reach us online at porkvet.com or call 623-5132. That's porkvet.com or 623-5132. PorkVet Solutions, literally saving your bacon each and every day.
Catch the Shot Photography as your hometown photographer. Locally owned by Brenda Adams Turk and David Turk, Catch the Shot is dedicated to providing quality photos of your family, seniors, sports, and special events. We offer custom designed products including sponsor banners, photo collages, senior banners, and much more. We look forward to catching the shots with you. Contact Catch the Shot Photography at 317-620-1240 or catchtheshot.com.
You're listening to the Dragons on newpalradio.com.
Second quarter action beginning at the Dragons' Den. New Palestine trails Yorktown 19-13. The Tigers will begin the quarter with the basketball. J.J. Evans in the high post. Turnaround jumper from 15. Back of the rim, no good. And Steele Brassfield has the rebound for New Palestine. Dragons with back-to-back stops. Let's see if they can take advantage. Ian Stevens with it on the right side. Bounces to Luke Burgess, who's checked into the game. Spins to the middle, puts it up with the left hand. Front of the rim, no good. And Ian Stevens is undercut, getting the rebound. And that'll be a foul on the Tigers.
Yeah, and a nice job by Stevens. He was initially boxed out, but he didn't give up on that rebound. He kind of found a way to get to the baseline, and even though it didn't look like it was an opening to get a rebound, he was able to jump from there and get his hands on the ball.
Mason Moulton commits his first foul. Steele Brassfield with the basketball for New Palestine to Hockett left wing. Up top, they work it through. Burgess to the right side. Now back to Brassfield. Catch and shoot three. Behind Burgess. Screen is good. Steele Brassfield knocks down his first triple of the game. The Dragons are down 3.
That might have been the most effective screen I've seen this year.
Luke Burgess was it takes up a lot of space and opened up the lane for Brassfield. And now Ian Stevens knocks the ball free. He takes it one-on-one, loses a defender and scores. Nice. And 5 quick points for the Dragons have them within 1.
And that's what they needed coming out of that second quarter break. They need a little energy and some opportunities to cash in.
Dunn is back in the game for Yorktown. He'll launch an NBA 3 and hit it from the left side. And A.J. Dunn answers with his 11th point. Puts Yorktown up 4.
A.J. Dunn's along with Tawari, are the big three-point shooters on this Yorktown team. But again, if that's what it's going to take to beat New Pal tonight, the Dragons might have to live with that.
Now Blaine Nunnally misses a jumper from the free throw line, but Luke Burgess collects the rebound and puts it back up and in. So Yorktown leads it by 2.
The more they can make Yorktown settle for some jump shots tonight, the better off they're going to be defensively.
The Tigers have been very good going downhill toward the basket.
Yeah.
Mason Moulton with it on the left wing, guarded by Ian Stevens, crosses him over, hands off to Evans. He'll drive to the free throw line, explode down the right side of the lane, put up the runner and score. Evans has 7. That's nearly his average. Yorktown leads it by 4.
He did a really nice job there of using some of the defenders just to get caught up in the wash and get caught in the mess.
Nunnally drives inside. Evans fouled him, tried to block the shot, but he got an awful lot of Blaine's upper body as well. And so that'll be the first foul on J.J. Evans and send Nunnally back to the free throw line.
Well, it was a reach for the ball, assuming that the ball was on the other side of Blaine's face, because that's what he hit first.
Nunnally will shoot a pair. He's 2 for 2 tonight. Now 3 for 3 as that one rolls around the rim and drops in. Substitutions both ways as Lovelace and Grimm check in for Yorktown. And also Oliver and Brown are back in for the Dragons. Nunnally hits both free throws. Yorktown's lead is 24-22. 5:40 to go second quarter. Walker Moore, high left for Yorktown. Feeds to Lovelace right side, drives to the baseline. Had Nunnally guarding him. Blaine tried to block the shot, but is going to be called for his first foul instead, and this will send Carter Lovelace to the free throw line.
Blaine, they were arguing trying to get a jump ball there, and Blaine got one hand on the ball. It was his offhand. He kind of hit Lovelace on the body. I don't think it had any impact on the shot, but that's what got the attention of the official.
Yeah, Blaine Nunnally has given up quite a few pounds and about 5 inches to Carter Lovelace, who misses the first free throw. Lovelace's second one is a swish. So he lives up pretty much to his 56% average by hitting one of the two. And the Tigers lead it by 3. 5:25 to go as Nunnally crosses midcourt. Slides into the left side behind Brown. Screen turns the corner draw. It gets to the basket. And what do we have? An offensive foul, an illegal screen. And if that's on Brown, that is not. It's Ian Stevens. That's his first. So just 4 on New Palestine. It's been a game with relatively few fouls. Yorktown with possession. As they move into the front court, A.J. Dunn feeds inside. Moulton tries to post up Stevens, who doesn't let him, and then Moulton loses the ball off his shin out of bounds. It'll be New Palestine possession. Really good defense by Ian Stevens in the post.
Yeah, we were talking about this a few games ago. Ian Stevens is just a great pest that every other team is going to absolutely hate.
And he's a 6'4" pest, too.
Yeah.
And that can make him a difficult guy to match up with. Matthew Brown kicks it to the aforementioned Ian Stevens. 3 out of the right corner is around and no good. And Dunn has the rebound for Yorktown. He'll bring it into the front court. Spin move at the free throw line. Tough defense by Oliver, forces the miss, and Matthew Brown collects the rebound. Quickly ahead to Nunnally. He'll bring it to the right side, pull up and fire a 3 off the dribble. It won't go, and Dunn collects the rebound for Yorktown. We'll bring it into the front court to Jacob Grimm. Pitches out to Dunn, sees a lane down the lane, shoots, gets the shot to go, and C.J. Oliver fouled him. A.J. Dunn has had himself a night already. That's his 13th point, and he'll have an opportunity at a 3-point play that can extend Yorktown's lead to 6.
Yeah, Coach Whitaker is going to have to find a different solution, I think, in terms of guarding A.J. Dunn, because unfortunately C.J. Oliver, he's catching it, and he's already a step ahead of C.J. too often.
Dunn looking to complete the 3-point play. He does not. That one pops halfway down the basket and out. So 27-22 is Yorktown's lead. Playing Nunnally into the front court to Eli Stevens, who's checked back into the game. The Dragons working around to Oliver, left wing. He'll take one dribble and bring it up top to Blaine Nunnally. High left side, guarded by Grimm. Hooks it inside to Brassfield, but it's picked off by Moore as he read the play. Grimm drives, gets the runner, it won't go, and the rebound collected by Brassfield. Dragons on the run into the front court. Steele, pull-up jumper from 18, it won't go. Dragons forcing a little bit right now. A.J. Dunn with the rebound for Yorktown. Quickly ahead to Tawari. He'll drive, pull up from the right side of the lane, and get one to rattle home. And the Dragons, just like that, down 7, 29-22, and Trent Whitaker's got to use another timeout.
And if I'm Coach Whitaker, what I'm concerned about is you've given up 29 points, and that's the first 2 that Tawari, who's the second leading scorer on the team, has scored. So, you've shut him down pretty effectively, but at that expense, it's been a lot of other guys that are going off on you, in particular A.J. Dunn. A.J.
Dunn has 13. J.J. Evans has 7. Yorktown's lead is 7. We'll be back right after this. This is Dragon Basketball at NewPalRadio.com.
With a former Dragon star in Bloomington, all eyes should be on the Hoosiers football program this year. HoosierHuddle.com is a free and independent site that has covered the football team since 2013. They provide roster analysis, player profiles, interviews, game previews, wrap-ups, and more. You can follow them on Twitter at Hoosier_Huddle or visit HoosierHuddle.com to keep up with your in-state favorites.
At Real Life Church, we've done everything we can to create a place people love so they can experience a loving God. That means we do everything with you in mind. Whether it's our weekend services, our kids and student ministry, or small groups, we really have been expecting you. We've been praying for you, and we're excited about the opportunity to go on a spiritual journey with you. We hope that you'll take your next step and join us this weekend at Real Life Church. There's always room for you.
And we welcome you back to the Dragons' Den. New Palestine trailing 29-22. C.J. Oliver catches a pass, drives down the lane, puts up a runner in traffic, can't get it to go, and he is fouled collecting the rebound as J.J. Evans pushed him out of bounds, and that's Evans' second foul.
Yeah, that's a big foul because Evans has been a very difficult player to get around on the inside. I like the shot selection there. You'd mentioned previously that the Dragons had been forcing some things, and I agree with that. Not only forcing in terms of some long shots, but long 2-point shots.
Steele Brassfield catches one on the left side, takes one dribble, and puts up a hanging runner for his 7th point. That cuts New Palestine's deficit to 5. Tawari up top to Dunn. Oliver guarding him at the top of the key. Takes a couple of dribbles, clears it to Lovelace. Now to Grimm, right wing. Up top Moore to Dunn behind a screen. Pick and pop with Grimm. Take it out to the right wing. Grimm looks to drive, puts up a runner and scores. Jacob Grimm's got 4. And Yorktown again getting to the basket with ease here in this first half. 31-24 is Yorktown's lead. Steele Brassfield fakes the 3, drives into the center of the lane, steps to the basket, and is going to be called for a travel. That's the 7th New Palestine turnover.
And Burgess can't believe it, or Brassfield can't believe it. I think it's the right call. It came late. What the official called as the travel seemed to not be right. It was, if anything, he slid his pivot foot initially.
I think that's what happened, and he went into the lane, slid his pivot foot, and then finished the move. Tawari makes a man miss, pulls up from 17 over Brown, can't get the shot to go. We have a whistle away from the ball. A rebounding foul. It looks like it's going to be on the Dragons. And Steele Brassfield is called for his first. That's 6 on the team, so the next one will put Yorktown in the bonus. Grimm catches in the left wing, drives into the middle of the lane, and Blaine Nunnally chucked him. And that's Blaine's second foul, and will send Grimm to the line.
And Nunnally is protesting to that, and it was the right call. The problem was that's not a foul that's not going to be called a foul if Grimm is driving and has his feet on the ground. But once he got up in the air, he invited that contact, and Nunnally obliged.
Grimm rattles the first free throw good, and the Dragons are down 8 with 2:26 to go in the first half. 32-24 is Yorktown's lead. Grimm's second free throw swishes home, and it's a 9-point Yorktown lead. The Dragons had got it to 25-22. Since then, Yorktown has outscored New Palestine 8-2. And C.J. Oliver, go ahead.
And just playing at a different pace than the Dragons right now.
Not only misses a runner in the lane, gets his own rebound, puts a high off glass. It won't go again, and Matthew Brown's going to be called for a foul, battling with Carter Lovelace under the basket. And that's Brown's second.
Yeah, some foul trouble starting to add up. I don't want to make excuses for the Dragons. They definitely are starting to look like a team that's played 3 games in 4 days, though.
Yeah.
And they're going to have to create some of their own energy here.
Yeah, right now they're down 9, and everything is hard on offense right now.
Yeah.
And they're not getting a lot of clean looks, and Yorktown is. Yorktown's been able to get to the center of the lane on just about every possession and make things happen going downhill, and now they're in the bonus, and 2 non-shooting fouls have led to now 3 points as Carter Lovelace hits that one. And he's got one more coming, and he hit them both, and it's an 11-point Yorktown lead, a 10-2 run for the Tigers.
What's remarkable to me is that even as we've recognized Yorktown had been playing better, they had not been a particularly prolific offense even when they were playing better. They had been playing better by being better defensively.
Brassfield elevates from 15, can't get it to go. Lovelace with the rebound. Yorktown on the run. Nunnally steps in to knock the ball free, but Lovelace picks it up, feeds Tawari for a long 3 that won't go. Luke Burgess collects the rebound. Quickly ahead comes Nunnally. Nunnally takes it to the middle of the lane. Defender goes down, and he's not going to get the Academy Award as Walker Moore took a huge flop in the middle of the lane, and he will be called for a blocking foul.
I might have gone out onto the court to protest that. They may have thrown me out of the game if that had been called a charge.
Let's say that Blaine's given up at least 50 pounds to Walker Moore, and Moore went down really, really easily as Blaine came into the lane.
If his name was Runner Moore, he wouldn't have been trying to do that.
1:33 to go. Nunnally to the line to shoot a pair. He is 4 for 4 from the line tonight. He is the only Dragon who has attempted a free throw in this game. And he is now 5 for 5. That stops Yorktown's 10-2 run and cuts the deficit to 10. We'll see Damon Hockett come in if Nunnally hits this second free throw, and he does. 8 points for Blaine. Hockett will replace him in the New Palestine lineup as it's a defensive dead ball, and Nunnally's got 2 fouls. You want to protect him from getting his third. Matthew Brown also with 2 fouls is not in the game. Luke Burgess checked in for him a couple possessions ago. Dunn catches on the wing, drives to the baseline. Dragons shoot 2 at him. Up top Moore, over to the right side to Jacob Grimm. Guarded by Hockett, spins in the lane. He trips over Hockett's leg, and that's going to be a foul on Damon Hockett and send Grimm to the line.
Yeah, that's a tough play for Hockett because he was doing everything right. Grimm kind of got out of control but was rewarded for it because he happened to have some contact there.
Front end of the 1-and-1 rattles in for Grimm, who's 3 for 3 from the line tonight and has 7 points. Grimm averages 3.9 a game. He hit the second and he's got 8. Eli Stevens will check in, replacing Luke Burgess in the New Palestine lineup. 1:15 to go in the first half. New Palestine's going to have to mount a comeback. They trail it by 11. Eli Stevens to steal Brassfield, looks to drive the baseline, gets himself under the basket, and puts a reverse layup up and in. He's got 9.
A beautiful hesitation there. He was patient once he got under the basket. He didn't panic, and that created some more open space.
Yorktown's Grimm puts the ball on his hip. He's content to hold for the last shot. Damon Hockett comes out to force the action. He'll feed Tawari high right. He's guarded by Bastion. Tawari, now the Dragons shoot a trap at him. Tries to feed it inside for Moore, but it was knocked away and nearly picked off, and Yorktown was a bit discombobulated offensively, so Coach Matt Moulton will take a timeout. As Moore saved that on the baseline, was able to clear it out, but I think Coach Moulton wanted to settle things down with 33.5 seconds to go.
Yeah, and going back to Yorktown, so they won their first game of the year 80-56 over Muncie Burris. Since that time, they've only gotten over 60 twice, and they're at 37 points. You know, they were at 37 points with 1.5 minutes left in the first half, now still with 33 seconds left, so they're going to go to halftime either on pace for 74 or hopefully not more than that.
Yeah, and that's, I think, something, I think if you're Trent Whitaker, one thing you got to talk about is keeping him in front of you.
Yeah.
That has been the real difficulty for this New Palestine team, as Yorktown's been able to get a lot going to the basket. Jacob Grimm with it high right, guarded by Hockett. They'll bring it across the top, final half minute of the first half. Over to the left side, Dragons shoot a trap at Tawari. They swing it around to Grimm, right wing. Skip it over to Tawari. He'll drive to the baseline, put up a floater. It won't go. Rebound, tip up again. And still pinballing around to Eli Stevens. He'll push it up to Hockett up the left side. Underneath, his pass is picked off. And here is Dunn, half-court shot with 6 seconds to go in the half. It won't go, but the rebound comes to Lovelace. His putback won't go. Brassfield with the rebound, and he tries a half-court shot. And what do we have?
Let's see what they call.
There's been a whistle.
There was a whistle before the buzzer, and they say no, it was the buzzer first.
I think the buzzer first, and I think that was the thing that I think he may have been about to call a travel, and then he heard the buzzer and just waved it off. So halftime comes. The New Palestine Dragons have a little bit of work to do. They trail the Yorktown Tigers 37-28, and saw Trent Whitaker's body language as soon as the horn sounded. Basically, it was like, guys, let's get to the dressing room. We got some stuff to talk about.
Right.
And so they will talk about that. We will talk about the first half right after this. The D&D Strictly Storage and Best Insight Family Eye Care halftime show commences momentarily. The Dragons trail Yorktown 37-28. This is Dragon Basketball at NewPalRadio.com. Our broadcast is presented by All-Star Turf Management.
All-Star Turf Management is the best choice for the lawn you really want. Our superior lawn care services, including fertilizer, weed control, aerations, mowing, and more, are designed to improve and maintain your property season after season. Our combination of using the highest quality chemical products applied by educated, licensed professionals is what your property needs to become a place we both will be proud of. With flexible scheduling and service programs, we have a package that's right for your lawn and your budget. Locally owned and operated by Nathan Johnson, All-Star Turf Management is proud to support the New Palestine community and Dragon Athletics. To learn more or for a free estimate, call All-Star Turf Management at 861-1234 or visit myallstarlawn.com. That's 861-1234 or myallstarlawn.com for All-Star Turf Management. D&D Strictly Storage in New Palestine is your home for storage needs. D&D Strictly Storage offers a wide variety of storage sizes from 5 by 10 feet up to 10 by 30 feet. They also offer indoor and outdoor parking for your boats and RVs. Locally owned and operated by Don and Maria Blackwell, D&D Strictly Storage is who to call for your storage solution. They're located on County Road 400 West, just north of the railroad tracks in New Palestine. Call them at 861-9231. Again, that's 861-9231 for D&D Strictly Storage. Mention this ad and get your second month free with any rental.
Best in Sight Eye Care has been the leader of quality vision and eyewear in New Palestine for more than 20 years. Our experienced doctors, Tim Huffman, Mark Habig, and Colin Clairbout, use the most advanced state-of-the-art technology and eye care products available. At Best in Sight Eye Care, you will find professionals who are dedicated to providing exceptional personal service to everyone who walks through the door. We are conveniently located on Arbor Lane in New Palestine. Just follow US 52 west of Mount Comfort Road. To schedule your appointment, visit bestinsighteyecare.com or call 861-4100. Give your vision the level of care it deserves. Mention this ad for 10% off your glasses purchase.
You're listening to The Dragons on newpalradio.com.
Welcome back to the Dragons Den. New Palestine taking on Yorktown tonight. The Dragons currently trailing at halftime, 37-28. Let's give you the halftime scoring numbers. First for New Palestine, Steele Brassfield leading the way with 9 points. He has 4 field goals, including a 3. Blaine Nunnally has 8 on a basket and 6 from 6 from the line. Matthew Brown with a pair of baskets for 4. Kyle Bastian scored the first 3 points of the game on a triple. Ian Stevens and Luke Burgess each have 2. Eli Stevens, Damon Hockett, and C.J. Oliver have all played but have yet to score for New Palestine, which has 10 field goals, 2 of which have been threes. They're 6 of 6 from the line. Leading the way for Yorktown is A.J. Dunn. He has 13 points, 1 of which is a 3. He's 0 for 1 from the line. Jacob Grimm has 8. That's doubling his average. He has a pair of baskets. He's 4 for 4 from the line. J.J. Evans with 7 on 3 field goals. He's 1 of 1 from the stripe. Carter Lovelace has a basket, is 3 of 4 from the line for 5. And Walker Moore and Kieran Tawari have 2 points each. Mason Moulton has played but has yet to score for Yorktown, which has had 7 players play and 6 have found the score sheet. They've had 14 field goals, 1 of which has been a 3. They're 8 of 10 from the line. The Tigers outscored the Dragons 19-13 in the first quarter and 18-15 in the second to take a 37-28 halftime lead. And for New Palestine, I think there's a lot you want to look at. Number one, obviously, they've struggled to get a lot of open shots. When they've gotten the ball in the post, good things have happened. It's just they've not been able to get the ball in the post as much as Yorktown's been really, really good inside. Defensively, it's keeping Yorktown out of the lane, keeping them in front of you has been a real challenge in this first half, and a big part of that is A.J. Dunn's first step. He can get to the basket pretty easily, but it's I think it's something where New Palestine just simply has not been able to keep the Tigers in front of them, and that causes your defensive rotations to be a little off, and as a result, that adds up to a 9-point deficit.
It's everything we talked about that was good on Wednesday night has been bad tonight defensively. On Wednesday night, they faced a team that was really good at driving to the basket and creating opportunities, and they kept the drivers in front, and because of that, it really threw off the Heron attack. And with that, instead tonight, it has been A.J. Dunn going to the basket, but not just A.J. Dunn. It's been Jacob Grimm has created some opportunities, even if he hasn't necessarily scored on all of them. And a lot of the front court scoring has come as a result of guards making things happen at the basket.
And so, yeah, I think that's really been a key. And A.J. Dunn, you can see his maturation from freshman year to sophomore year. He was a good player last year. He is one of the better players we've seen this year, and he's a difficult player to deal with.
Yeah, he's a very difficult matchup. One thing I would not be surprised to see is if perhaps they've tried Nunnally and they've tried Oliver on him in the first half. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe we see a lineup where if they can keep Eli Stevens and Damon Hockett or Eli Stevens and Kyle Bastian on the floor at the same time, matching one of those two up against Dunn might be beneficial, because that gives you some size that even if he can get past that player, that kind of still has to worry about a guy coming from behind and blocking a shot. that's the only thing I could think in terms of, and also some wider bodies that Dunn has to drive around.
Yeah, let's take a look at some of the other scores in the conference. Final score, Shelbyville and Newcastle already finished. They played an early game tonight. The Golden Bears snap a 4-game losing streak, knocking off Newcastle 59-36 in the Newcastle Fieldhouse. That's a big win for Shelbyville. One other game that involves the conference standings tonight, Greenfield Central leads Pendleton Heights 24-16 at halftime. In non-conference games, Mount Vernon has a 28-15 lead over Connorsville at halftime, and Wapahani leads Delta 17-15 at the half. Delta and Mount Vernon will play each other tomorrow night, so everybody in the league playing a conference game this weekend.
Yeah, Shelbyville in particular, they haven't looked like they were a conference contender because they had so many games postponed early on in the season, and a lot of things essentially got backed up. They've still only played now 4 conference games, but they're at 2-2. And can definitely be a force the remainder of this conference season.
That'll be the Dragons' next conference game in 2 weeks. Their next game isn't for 8 days. Next Saturday against Perry Meridian. That'll be a special 1:30 tip-off, an afternoon game next Saturday, and it'll feel like a vacation after this week for Coach Trent Whitaker's team. And again, we'll have coverage of that game on both channels, the radio and the video as well. That'll do it for the D&D Strictly Storage Best in Sight Family Eye Care halftime show. When we come back, we'll bring you second half action. The Dragons trail at 37-28. This is Dragon Basketball on NewPowerRadio.com.
All-Star Turf Management is the best choice for the lawn you really want. Our superior lawn care services, including fertilizer, weed control, aerations, mowing, and more, are designed to improve and maintain your property season after season. Our combination of using the highest quality chemical products applied by educated, licensed professionals is what your property needs to become a place we both will be proud of. With flexible scheduling and service programs, we have a package that's right for your lawn and your budget. Locally owned and operated by Nathan Johnson, All-Star Turf Management is proud to support the New Palestine community and Dragon Athletics. To learn more or for a free estimate, call All-Star Turf Management at 861-1234 or visit myallstarlawn.com. That's 861-1234 or myallstarlawn.com for All-Star Turf Management.
You're listening to The Dragons on NewPalRadio.com.
Yorktown with its original starting 5 on the floor. The Dragons have their regular starting 5 as Eli Stevens inbounds to Blaine Nunnally, Brassfield, Brown, and Oliver, the other 3 on the floor. As New Palestine begins the second half with possession, down 9 to Yorktown. Along with Mike Petrie, I'm Andrew Smith, welcoming you. As Matthew Brown catches right block, puts it up with the left hand, can't get it to go. C.J. Oliver has the rebound knocked out of his hands, off of his hand, out of bounds. And it'll go to Yorktown, and the Dragons will show full court pressure to begin the second half on their first defensive possession.
Well, that's an interesting way to counteract some of the quickness, but I think it'll bring some energy to this team defensively.
Yorktown brings it into the front court to Moore. Long skip pass to Dunn, high left. Nunnally guarding him. Dunn drives, loses the handle, and pitches it out for a three-point attempt from Carter Lovelace that he knocks down. And Yorktown has opened up a 12-point lead.
Yeah, that is pretty much what you want to have happen. Carter Lovelace taking three-point shots is really not the secret to success, so but sometimes they go in.
Blade Nunnally with an up and under. He lays it in. J.J. Evans quickly the other way, scores and draws a foul. The Tigers were able to push it up the floor, and Evans able to get enough English to get that over the rim. And Steele Brassfield commits his second foul, and Evans has 9 points. And has another opportunity at a three-point play. He converted one earlier. He's a 64% foul shooter. He swishes this one home, and the Dragons are in a 13-point hole. Suboptimal start to the second half. You've given up 6 points on 2 possessions.
Yeah, you like the energy initially, but then it's the execution that has been lacking a little.
6:45 to go. Brassfield over to Nunnally, right wing, guarded by Dunn. Up top to Oliver, over to the left wing to Steele Brassfield. He's guarded by Evans. Feeds Stevens, left baseline, brings it back out to Brassfield, into the post for Brown. Hooks it up and scores off glass and in. Matthew Brown has 6. The Dragons are within 11.
As you said, every time they get it to the post, good things happen. It's just a matter of you've got to find a reliable way to get it to the post.
Tawari with it on the right wing, loses the handle into the backcourt. It was tipped by Nunnally. Trent Whitaker can't believe it as the official says the ball was tipped. He and most of the Dragon players and fans disagree, but Yorktown maintains possession. Lovelace out to Moore, now to Dunn on the high left side with Oliver guarding him. Over to Lovelace, they shoot Stevens at him into the corner for Dunn. Dunn will drive baseline, put up a runner, and Brown fouled him. Brown just swatted down. That's the one thing you can't do, is swat down at an airborne player, and this will send A.J. Dunn to the line.
And he knows it, and I'm sure he knew it as his arm was coming down. But, that's one of those things. A.J. Dunn did a nice job of hanging back after he got up into the air and didn't continue going forward like Brown was expecting him to, and Brown was left kind of swatting at air.
Dunn hits the first and the second free throw, and the Dragons back in a 13-point hole as Dunn has 15 points. Yorktown is not a good free throw shooting team, but they're 11 of 13 tonight. They're normally just 67%. C.J. Oliver drives to the baseline. The ball's kicked out of bounds. It'll stay with New Palestine. With 5:42 to go in the third quarter. Dragons have been outscored 8-4 here in this third quarter to see a 9-point deficit become 13. Steele Brassfield catches the inbounds pass and knocks down a three from the left wing. Dragons would like to see more of that, even though Brassfield had a hand in his face when he put up that shot. He's got 12. And the ball knocked free. Eli Stevens off of Dunn's shin, out of bounds. Turnover, the 6th on Yorktown, will give the ball back to New Palestine.
Yeah, one thing Yorktown generally does a pretty good job of is taking care of the ball. They turn it over at about 20%, which is, especially for high school ball, that's pretty good. But the more you can pressure them and kind of remind them they're leading by 13 points or 11 points, the better off you're going to be.
Nunnally drives from the top, has a shot blocked, but he's fouled. Again, you had a defender swatting down on a shooter, and Blaine Nunnally will go to the line, trying to cut the Dragons' deficit back to single digits.
And again, it was the shooter who got into the air, kind of initiated some contact, and then held the ball back to draw contact, to draw more.
Nunnally hits the free throw. He's 7 of 7 tonight from the line. He's got 11 points. He and Brassfield in double figures for New Palestine. Steele has 12. And now so does Blaine as he hits both free throws. 5 straight points for the Dragons. They trail it by 8. At 5:10 to go in the third quarter. Dunn against full court pressure from Oliver. Man-to-man full court pressure. Dunn brings it across. Dragons shoot a trap at him. He's able to clear it to Moore to Tawari. Long three, right side, good. Kieran Tawari's first 3 of the game, and that's how you answer a run. If you're Yorktown, they're back up 11. Stevens hands off to Brassfield, fakes the 3, drives past J.J. Evans into the middle of the lane, puts up a runner, good. Steele's got 14, the deficit back down to 9.
I like that game plan, faking the 3, getting yourself going towards the basket.
Yorktown works it inside. The pass to Evans in the right block is knocked out of bounds by Matthew Brown. They'll stay with the Tigers.
And again, Yorktown's done a better job shooting tonight than, again, they normally do, but the more you make this a jump shooting contest for them, the better off you're going to be defensively.
Tawari has the pass for Evans, knocked away and stolen by Oliver. CJ 1 on 3 the other way, clears to Brassfield. He'll launch a 3 from the left wing off the front of the rim, no good. Matthew Brown skies to get the rebound and outlets it back up top to Nunnally. To Brown in the block, takes it to the middle. Baby hook off the back of the rim, no good. That was a good look from Brown, just couldn't get it to go. Moore pushes it up to Lovelace, left baseline, skips it out to Grimm. It's knocked free and stolen by Nunnally. Blaine takes it 1 on 2 on Moore, who swats his shot out of bounds. Possession will stay with New Palestine. Dragons defense starting to turn up the wick a little bit and force some turnovers.
4 turnovers so far in this third quarter by Yorktown, and all of them have been forced.
Nunnally inbounds to Bastian, catch and shoot 3 out of the corner, grazes the front of the rim. Matthew Brown comes in to keep the rebound alive, but knocks it out of bounds, and possession will go back to Yorktown. Dragons have had a couple of opportunities to cut this deficit inside 9, but just haven't been able to get the shots to go down. Again, some man-to-man full court pressure shown by New Palestine. Evans will bring it up. Brown guarding him. He'll bounce it to Tawari, high right. He'll use the screen to worry to the free throw line, now to Lovelace. He'll drive down the lane, put up a wild shot that was blocked and collected by Steele Brassfield. It was Bastian with the block. Brassfield with the full head of steam down the middle of the lane. Score the basket as Brassfield is able to get a runner to go, and he draws the foul. And the Dragons are within 7. That's as close as they have been since the late stages of the second quarter.
And just fantastic job turning defense into offense. Steele Brassfield essentially just a one-man scoring machine
and
on that one.
He hits the free throw to complete the three-point play, and the Dragons are down 6. Yorktown is led by as many as 13 in the third quarter. Got 3:35 to go. Evans clears it out to Grimm, and it's picked off by Nunnally. Blaine takes it up the left side and scores. And now Coach Matt Moulton wants a full timeout. 3:27 to go in the third quarter. The Dragons have turned a 13-point deficit. They've trimmed it to 4. 48-44 is Yorktown's lead. We'll be back right after this on newpalradio.com. Our broadcast presented by All-Star Turf Management.
Catch the Shot Photography is your hometown photographer. Locally owned by Brenda Adams Turk and David Turk, Catch the Shot is dedicated to providing quality photos of your family, seniors, sports, and special events. We offer custom designed products including sponsor banners, photo collages, senior banners, and much more. We look forward to catching the shots with you. Contact Catch the Shot Photography at 317-620-1240 or catchtheshot.com.
At Real Life Church, we've done everything we can to create a place people love so they can experience a loving God. That means we do everything with you in mind. Whether it's our weekend services, our kids and student ministry, or small groups, we really have been expecting you. We've been praying for you, and we're excited about the opportunity to go on a spiritual journey with you. We hope that you'll take your next step and join us this weekend at Real Life Church. There's always room for you.
Now, back to the action on newpalradio.com.
3:25 to go third quarter. Yorktown leading 48-44 with the basketball as Jacob Grimm against full court pressure loses the handle, but he gets it back and brings it across midcourt. He's in a trap on the sideline, able to clear it to Lovelace down to Moulton right baseline. Up top, Lovelace wants 3, and he hits it.
A great job by Yorktown answering again, but New Pal just has to stay with that same aggressive defensive game plan.
Steele Brassfield wants 3 from the top of the key. It won't go. Ian Stevens with the offensive board clears it to Oliver. He'll put up a runner in the lane. Back of the rim, no good. Brassfield tips it off the glass to Oliver. His short jumper won't go, but the rebound comes out to Blaine Nunnally. He'll reset. Recoil down the lane. 1-on-3 out to Brassfield. Travels. Steele thought about the 3, then tried to drive and drag the pivot foot. And just like that.
So many good things that happened on that offensive possession. It's frustrating to come away with 0 points.
They had a couple of point-blank looks that just would not go down, and Yorktown with possession and a 7-point lead. And they have led largely throughout in this one. Evans hooks it underneath to Lovelace, who catches, puts up a layup, and scores. Lovelace averages 7.1. He's got 13 tonight, including 8 in the third quarter. And just like that, Yorktown's up 9. Blaine Nunnally with a runner won't go. Bastian with the offensive board, gets his man of the air, puts it off glass and in for his 5th point. And Yorktown's leads back down to 7.
The offensive rebounding is going to be there for the Dragons because Yorktown is not sending a lot of guys at the glass. They're trying to cherry pick a little bit.
Carter Lovelace catches on the baseline, makes a man miss and scores his 10th point of the quarter, and Yorktown back up 9. Ian Stevens with it for New Palestine, top of the key. Over to Brassfield, catches on the left wing. Up top to Oliver, over to the right side to Kyle Bastian. He'll drive, feed Nunnally up top. He'll pull up from 15 and score. Nunally's got 8 of his 16 in the quarter, and the deficit is 7.
A good screen there by Bastian, maybe almost too good as he threw an extra shoulder into Jacob Grimm, who is trailing.
Torrey top of the key for Yorktown. Final 90 seconds of the third quarter. They lead it by 7. Over to Grimm, into the lane, past Oliver, puts up a wild runner, won't go. Brassfield collects the weak side rebound. Quickly ahead to Oliver. He speeds into the lane, loses the handle, gets it back under the basket, and then throws it away. And then Grimm is fouled.
And that's foul number 3 on Nunnally. Probably a good foul. It stops a fast break. C.J. Oliver did a great job of staying with the dribble. He got up in the air and then bypassed the easy pass to Bastian and threw a harder pass to Nunnally.
And so Steele Brassfield will get a breather. as Ian Stevens checks back in. A.J. Dunn back in for Yorktown. 1:10 to go in the third quarter. 55-48, the Tigers lead. And Tawari has it up top. Barring a jump ball, Yorktown will get the ball to start the fourth as well. Moulton feeds Tawari, left wing. Lobs it into the block for Lovelace. Goes block to Walker Moore, is wide open and lays it in for his fourth point. And Yorktown leads it by 9. Blaine Nunnally the other way, guarded by Dunn. Feeds Bastian over to Stevens, left wing. Up top to Nunnally. 38 seconds to go in the third quarter. Blaine Nunnally, left side of the lane. Big step, gets a man in the air, draws the foul, and scores the basket. And so that cuts the deficit to 7, and Nunnally will have an opportunity to cut the deficit even more with a free throw. Blaine has 10 of his 18 in this third quarter. Free throw is no good off the front of the rim. Could not complete the three-point play. That's the Dragons' first miss from the line. Blaine is now 8 of 9. The team is 9 for 10. 25 seconds to go in the third quarter. Dunn with it high right, guarded by Oliver. Feeds into the corner for Tawari. Oliver goes down. Moore over to Dunn, left wing with 15 seconds to go in the quarter. Moore sets the screen. Dunn takes it to the left side, feeds into the corner for a catch-and-shoot three by Moulton. That's around and no good. Stevens has the rebound with 8 seconds to go. He gets tangled up with Carter Lovelace, who commits his third foul. That's a significant foul, as Lovelace now with a little bit of foul trouble, and he's got 15 points for Yorktown.
Yeah, it's the forwards, the front court, that has really outpaced their normal production tonight. Both Lovelace in the third quarter, J.J. Evans in the first half. So the foul trouble there, somewhat significant for what has to be aggravating for Coach Moulton, because, you know, what are you going to get from that?
Nunnally picks up the ball with 7 seconds to go at midcourt. Feeds Brassfield. Baseline drive. Out to Stevens with 3. Up top, Nunnally, his 3 may have been blocked. Off glass, no good. Ian Stevens came flying in to try to get the rebound, but could not. And so we head to the fourth quarter with the Yorktown Tigers leading the New Palestine Dragons 57-50. The Dragons had cut the deficit to 4. It currently sits at 7. We'll take a break, come back right after this. This is Dragon Basketball on newpalradio.com. Our broadcast presented by All-Star Turf Management.
All-Star Turf Management is the best choice for the lawn you really want. Our superior lawn care services, including fertilizer, weed control, aerations, mowing, and more, are designed to improve and maintain your property season after season. Our combination of using the highest quality chemical products applied by educated, licensed professionals is what your property needs to become a place we both will be proud of. With flexible scheduling and service programs, we have a package that's right for your lawn and your budget. Locally owned and operated by Nathan Johnson, All-Star Turf Management is proud to support the New Palestine community and Dragon Athletics. To learn more or for a free estimate, call All-Star Turf Management at 861-1234 or visit myallstarlawn.com. That's 861-1234 or myallstarlawn.com for All-Star Turf Management.
Now, back to the action on newpalradio.com.
Fourth quarter action beginning at the Dragons' Den. New Palestine trailing at Yorktown by a count of 57-50. Tigers with possession to start the fourth quarter. And Ian Stevens gets his hand in to knock a pass out of bounds. It'll stay with Yorktown. They'll inbound on the side. Ian Stevens, again, those long arms and active hands. Yeah. He just makes things happen on defense. Tigers inbound to Lovelace, top of the key. He's got 15 points. He's being guarded by Bastian right now. Over to Dunn. He'll circle the arc. Guarded by Stevens. Stevens cuts Dunn off, feeds Moore in the corner. Back to Dunn, left block. He's in a triple team, pitches it out to Moore. He'll drive into the corner for Dunn. We have a whistle and an offensive foul, an illegal screen set by Walker Moore. That's his second foul. That's one the crowd had been calling for quite a while, and they finally get what they wish.
Well, and I don't think he would have, he wasn't set up for it, but he tripped over his feet as he was setting the screen and then fell over into the Dragons player.
Eli Stevens with it, right wing, up top to Brassfield. Fakes the 3, drives Moore into the lane, goes left, right, left again, and then switched his pivot foot. And so that's a traveling violation. Just seems like every time the Dragons have a chance to eat into this deficit and get it inside 7 or 6, They turn it over or miss a short shot.
Easy opportunities. That's 3 travels tonight on Brasfield by himself. So just a little bit sloppy.
Loveless with it up top, over to Moore on the right wing. Hands off to Dunn. They shoot a trap at him. Underneath Moore, catches right block. Into double team, hooks it out to Tawari. Open 3, left corner, around and no good. But Loveless gets the rebound, has his shot blocked by Ian Stevens. Bastian with the rebound up to Brasfield. Steele brings it across midcourt, 6:45 to go. They're trying to deny Nunnally the ball. They'll work it to Ian Stevens into the corner to Bastian, back to Blaine Nunnally. Right wing spin move into the lane. Scoop shot won't go. Eli Stevens with a rebound. It won't go from point blank range. Nunnally collects the offensive board and puts it up front of the rim. No good. 3 point blank looks for New Palestine, and none of them would go in. And Yorktown pushes it up the floor, and Brasfield blocks Moore's shot off the backboard, out of bounds. It'll go to the Dragons.
So many chances, and you hope that that's the defensive comeback essentially that can spark something for the Dragons here, because it was at 2:40 where they had 2:40 in the third quarter. They had gotten it down to 6, had 3 chances at the rim and came up empty. That time they come up empty at the rim 3 times. So.
Steele Brasfield matched up on Moore, drives, can't get the runner to go from the right edge of the lane. Tawari with the rebound. Another point-blank look for New Palestine that doesn't go. Moore into the corner to Loveless. He drives into the lane, puts up a runner, back of the rim, no good. We have a whistle and a late foul call. That was a really late foul call. Matt Moulton pumping his fist. He, I think, knows his team may have gotten away with one there.
Yeah. And was the call on the shot, or was the call on the...
Well, they're calling it on the shot because Loveless is standing at the free throw line.
Yeah. Interesting.
The Dragons already had the rebound when the foul was called. Loveless knocks down the first free throw for his 16th point. And that gives Yorktown an 8-point lead. Trent Whitaker is pleading his case to no avail.
There was a lot of back and forth on the rebound attempt. That would have made sense, but I was a little perplexed there.
Loveless hits both free throws. The Dragons are down 9 with 5:53 to go in the game. It's been a game where New Palestine's had opportunities to break through, but just has not been able to. They've trailed since the later stages of the first quarter. Steele Brasfield to Nunnally. Catches on the left wing in a lot of traffic. Drive, score the basket. Let's see if they count it, or they're going to call the foul on the floor. They are counting the basket for Nunnally, and he is fouled. A.J. Dunn commits his first foul. Nunnally's got 20. Oliver in, Ian Stevens out for New Palestine. Damon Hockett also checking in to replace Kyle Bastian. So it's Brown, Nunnally, Hockett, Brasfield, and Oliver on the floor. Jacob Grimm checks in for Yorktown. Nunnally's 8 of 9 from the line in this game, and now 9 of 10 as he swishes that one for his 21st point. The Dragons within 6. Grimm catches in the backcourt. Full court pressure employed by New Palestine. Grimm has it, bringing it up on Hockett, crosses midcourt, drives into the lane, tried to hook it out to Tawari. It's knocked out of bounds by Nunnally. It'll stay with Yorktown.
This full court pressure has thrown Yorktown off their game a little bit. Honestly, what worked best was in the third quarter a couple of times just keeping Grimm from advancing the ball and having it be Evans starting the offense for the Tigers.
Dragons, a little bit of chaos defense. Yorktown works it to Tawari in the corner now to Grimm. Grimm uses a screen for Moore, dribbles to the elbow, pitches into the left corner for Dunn. He'll circle to the left elbow, get cut off, bring it back out to Grimm. Drives into the lane, pitches to Evans, gets a man in the air, puts it off glass and in.
Yeah, that was all caused by Grimm getting his man in the air, causing Steele Brasfield to come help. I think at this point, if you're a Dragons post player, you've got to be on a no-help policy the rest of the way.
C.J. Oliver drives from the wing inside and draws a foul. This should be on A.J. Dunn. That's his second, that is, and that's the 7th team foul, so C.J. Oliver will go to the line for a 1-and-1. C.J. is a 72% foul shooter on the year. He has not scored, and he still hasn't as he misses the front end, and another missed opportunity for New Palestine. Down 8. They've had a number of point-blank looks in this fourth quarter, and now a missed front end of a 1-and-1. Yorktown's Grimm with possession, working on Hockett. Into the lane, bounces out to Moore right side. Try to drive into the lane. Brown follows him every step of the way. Moore with it left wing, and gets rid of it at the 4.5-second count. Here's Dunn driving into the lane, hooks it up. It's halfway down the basket, and it will not go down. Steele Brassfield with a rebound. Dragons down 8 with the ball. Brassfield drives past Evans, feeds Brown under the basket. He can't get the shot to go, but he'll go to the line. Good look by Brassfield. And he draws A.J. Dunn's third foul. All 3 have come in the last couple of minutes of this game.
It wouldn't have been a bad offensive look if Brassfield had taken the shot there, but he passes up a decent look for a great look for Matthew Brown.
Brown hits the first free throw for his 7th point. The Dragons within 7, 4:14 to go in quarter number 3. Get one more coming for Brown, the Dragons 6'4" senior, and he rattles this one home. He's got 8. Yorktown will bring Carter Lovelace back into the game, replacing Walker Moore. So the Dragons are within 6 with 4:14 to go in the ball game. Again, full court pressure. Grimm will bring it up on Hockett. Dragons shoot a trap at Grimm. He's able to outlet to Evans. Back to Grimm across midcourt on the run to Lovelace, right baseline. Takes one dribble, gets us in the air. May have gotten away with a walk. The Dragons certainly think so. Bounce pass to J.J. Evans. He loses his defender, puts it off glass and in for his 14th point.
Yeah, that was not a fair matchup for C.J. Oliver. He got switched onto Evans, and Evans was able to take advantage of the size.
Nunnally drives into the lane with contact, puts up a teardrop runner, won't go. Brown tips the rebound in the air, but out of bounds. It'll go to Yorktown. Just been one of those nights for New Palestine. They've had opportunities and had good looks in the fourth quarter, just have not been able to get them to go down. They trail at 63-55. Inbounds pass to Dunn. In a trap in the backcourt, is able to clear it to Grimm. He'll bring it across the timeline with a full head of steam. Now to Dunn into the corner. Tawari wants 3. He has 3. Kieran Tawari's second 3 of the game, and it's an 11-point Yorktown lead, and that might have been the dagger. Blaine Nunnally tries to make it not be so, and he's fouled in the middle of the lane as A.J. Dunn got up in the air and fouled him, and that's his 4th.
Yeah.
So Nunnally back to the free throw line. New Palestine trails at 66-55. Kieran Tawari's 3 right after the Dragons had cut it to 6. And then Yorktown with a basket, and Dragons missed a point-blank shot, and they hit a 3, and boom, it's an 11-point game again. Nunnally hits the first free throw. That's his 22nd point. The second one could cut it to a 9-point game. It does. And Trent Whitaker is going to take a timeout. It is a full timeout, so we'll take 1, 2, 3:19 to go in the ball game. Yorktown leading the Dragons 66-57. This is Dragon Basketball on NewPalRadio.com. Our
Pork Vet Solutions is the best veterinary choice for your swine operation. Our 2 doctors, Matt Ackerman and Dylan Lape, can help you position your pork production system for the 21st century. We provide veterinary and consulting services, herd visits, preventive medicine, and more. Pork Vet Solutions is licensed and accredited in 8 states. Reach us online at porkvet.com or call 623-5132. That's porkvet.com or 623-5132. Pork Vet Solutions, literally saving your bacon each and every day.
With a former Dragon star in Bloomington, all eyes should be on the Hoosiers football program this year. HoosierHuddle.com is a free and independent site that has covered the football team since 2013. They provide roster analysis, player profiles, interviews, game previews, wrap-ups, and more. You can follow them on Twitter at Hoosier_Huddle or visit HoosierHuddle.com to keep up with your in-state favorites.
You're listening to The Dragons on NewPalRadio.com.
3:19 to go, fourth quarter. Dragons trailing Yorktown 66-57. Tigers with possession against full court pressure. J.J. Evans in the backcourt will race it up into the front court. Feed it over to Dunn on the right wing. Back to Evans. Into the corner to Tawari. Now to Dunn, right wing. To Evans, mid-post, right side. Takes it out to the free throw line, pitches it out to Tawari, the freshman, now to another freshman, Jacob Grimm. Circles the arc, may have gotten away with a walk, pitches it out top. It's knocked away by Matthew Brown and stolen. Brown pitches back out to Nunnally. He'll launch a three, top of the key, back of the rim, no good. And Tawari has the rebound for Yorktown, and he's fouled.
Fouled by Brown, fighting for that rebound. Matthew Brown did a fantastic job of poking that ball free and then staying with it on the defensive end until he finally secured the ball, but just unable to complete it on the offensive end.
And that's been kind of the story of the night for New Palestine. Early they were struggling to get stops. Now they're starting to string stops together, but they're struggling to score.
Yeah, not taking advantage.
66-57, Yorktown leads again with the basketball. Again, full court pressure. Grimm splits a double team in the backcourt and is fouled by Steele Brassfield. As he splits said double team, that'll be Steele's third. That is just 6 on New Palestine, so the next one will put Yorktown in the bonus. So Evans to inbound in the backcourt, and he's able to get it to Grimm in the backcourt, guarded by Ian Stevens. Brassfield waiting to set the trap. Grimm brings it across midcourt, flips it over to Tawari on the left wing. Bit of a dangerous pass, but it found its intended target. Being hounded by Nunnally, and now to Grimm with 2.5 to go. Grimm crossover dribble to Tawari in the corner. Brings it back up top. Yorktown more than content to run some time here. Tawari drives, puts it off glass. It's blocked by Bastion. Rebound corralled by Ian Stevens. He'll dribble it out of danger, and Steele Brassfield is hurt behind the play. And so the official stopping the play. Steele Brassfield went down behind the play, and he's in some significant pain, it appears. And Heather Campbell, the trainer, out to look at him. And Trent Whitaker over. Jeff Wright, the assistant athletic director, as well. And I'm not sure what happened. There's a bench on that end, and he may have hit that. And he's holding, let's see here, what are they looking at? His leg. Is it his ankle, it appears, that Heather Campbell is looking at right now. And so Steele Brassfield, Dragons' leading scorer on the season. He has 17 points tonight, but he is right now sitting up, and he gets up to his feet. He's walking very gingerly, and we'll head over to the sideline with the trainer. And so Steele Brassfield, that's a significant injury for New Palestine. As it looks like they're looking at his right ankle. So Eli Stevens will check in for him. Dragons down 9 with the ball, 2:17 to go. Inbounds pass comes to Nunnally. He'll feed Stevens in the left corner. Stevens looks to drive baseline on Evans. Feeds Ian Stevens underneath, puts it off glass and in, and draws the foul. Good look from brother to brother there, and Ian Stevens will have an opportunity to three-point play.
That was a fantastic look by Eli. He was driving, and the entire time he kept his head down, and his eyes were essentially on wherever Ian was going to end up there.
Ian misses the free throw. Yorktown with the rebound. Dragons down 7, so it remains a 3-possession game. Dragons missed just 1 free throw in the first 3 quarters. They've missed 2, including the front end of a 1-and-1 in the fourth. Yorktown against pressure, feeds Evans in the high post. Underneath Lovelace, he's fouled by Nunnally. That's Blaine's fourth. And Lovelace will go to the line where he is 5 out of 6 tonight.
And you still see a lot of Dragons just kind of gesturing to each other. I thought you were going this way, I thought I had this, and just a little confusion defensively. They just seem a step slow in a lot of different places.
Lovelace hits the first free throw. He entered the night a 56% foul shooter, but he's 6 of 7 tonight, and it's kind of one of those nights where Yorktown is playing out of its mind a little bit, and the Dragons maybe were, as we mentioned, maybe just not quite to the standard that they have set for themselves as well, and that adds up to a 9-point deficit with 1:45 to go. Not only down the lane, puts it up left hand and scores.
Yeah, if you'd told me before the game that it was going to be in the 70s or the 60s, the winning score, I would have assumed that's great for the Dragons.
C.J. Oliver knocks the inbounds pass out of bounds. It was intended for Dunn. He was trying to knock it off of Dunn's hand, but unable to do so. Damon Hockett will check in for New Palestine, replacing Ian Stevens. Should get really quick defender on the floor. Yorktown looking to inbound. They get it into Grimm in the backcourt. He'll put a full head of steam across midcourt. Feed Tawari left wing. 1:29 to go. Yorktown with a 7-point lead in the ball. Nunnally guarding Tawari. He's got 4 fouls, so he's got to be careful. Now to Dunn in the corner, back up top to Tawari with 1:20 to go. Now to Grimm, high post Evans. Evans is fouled by Eli Stevens, who is trying to knock the ball free. That's Eli's second.
Yeah.
And that will send Yorktown into the bonus. That is the 8th team foul on New Palestine.
At this point, I think that playing time is going to be determined by who doesn't have fouls, because if you're going to come back and win this, you can't be waiting more than 5-10 seconds trying to get a steal. You're going to have to limit Yorktown's possessions to getting to them to the free throw line.
Evans misses the front end of the 1-and-1, but the theme of the night for New Palestine has been missed opportunities. And there, Kyle Bastian knocks the rebound out of bounds, and so Yorktown gets another possession. So again, you get the break you want, and then you're unable to capitalize. That's really been the theme of the night.
And really the break that you want with J.J. Evans being at the free throw line wasn't even able to be in position to win that offensive rebound.
Now the Dragons force a 5-second violation, so they will get the ball back, down 7. 1:12 to go in the game. Yorktown has led throughout, other than in the early stages. Eli Stevens drives baseline, gets his man in the air, and gets one to roll in. Eli Stevens has his first 2. It's a 68-63 game, and Trent Whitaker will use a timeout. He has a full or a 30. Let's see what he does. It's a 30, so we'll keep it here.
So as they're setting up their defense here, I think if you're New Pal, you're shooting for 5 possessions the rest of the game, where if you can get 5 possessions, that means that you make up essentially 1 point per possession, whether that's through Yorktown missing, 1 of 2 or both of 2 free throws, or you getting a quick steal or what have you. If you can get 5 possessions the rest of the game, you've got a chance at evening things out. But what you can't do is allow Yorktown to dribble and, pass around trying to find the right guy to foul. You've got to foul pretty quickly here.
1:03 to go in the game. Yorktown with possession against full court pressure, leading 68-63. Evans to inbound in the backcourt. Looking and gets it into Dunn. Dunn being followed by Oliver. They shoot a trap at him. He lobs it to Tawari. Tawari crosses midcourt with 55 seconds. And so they used 8 of their 10, and then Ian Stevens grabbed Tawari.
And I like that by, Ian Stevens. They were not wanting to foul Dunn, which I get to a certain degree, although he's only a 63% free throw shooter on the season. They foul the best free throw shooter when it comes down to it. But at this point, you're not going to get real choosy. You've got to go 5 seconds, maybe go for 1 steal, and then you've got to foul.
68-63, Yorktown leads Kieran Tawari, who has 8 points on the night at the line. He's an 85% free throw shooter, and he swishes the front end of the 1-and-1. So that puts Yorktown back up 6. Tawari's got 1 more coming. And he looks to become the 4th Tiger in double figures if he can hit this, and he does. And more importantly, he makes it a 3-possession game. 53 seconds to go, 70-63, Yorktown leads. Nunnally drives, puts one off glass, but he was fouled well before the shot. And so he'll go to the line. Jacob Grimm commits his first foul.
That would have been an extra level of continuation if Nunnally had been able to count that.
I'm not even sure you get that one in the NBA. Blaine to the line to shoot a pair. First one is perfect. That ties his career high with 26 and cuts the Dragon deficit to 6 with 51.5 seconds to go. Blaine had 8 at halftime, and he rattles the second one home. He has 19 in the second half. So the Dragons down 5. Yorktown again with possession. Hockett and Nunnally are offense-defense substituting right now as Nunnally has 4 fouls. Evans inbounds to Lovelace in the backcourt, and now clears it to Tawari. Tawari to bring it up, 46 seconds to go. Brings it across midcourt to Grimm, and then is fouled on the pass. And this will send Kieran Tawari to the line. That's not the guy you want to foul.
No, they had Lovelace, who has shot the ball better tonight, but Matthew Brown didn't want to foul him. He's got 4 fouls.
And then
at this point, you can't you can't be picky.
Unfortunately, Brown does foul Tawari, and so he'll foul out with 8 points. And so Kyle Bastian will check in for him. Blaine Nunnally also will check in. And, of course, the Dragons also without the services of Steele Brassfield right now, as he went down with an ankle injury, an apparent ankle injury, we should say. Tawari, shooting 2, misses the front end of the 2-shot foul. That was the 10th team foul on the Dragons. So it's a 5-point game. Tawari has 1 more shot coming, looking to make it a 6-point lead, and he missed them both. Ian Stevens with the rebound. Quickly ahead, Nunnally across midcourt with 40. Pulls up for 3, top of the key, no good, but Bastian with the offensive board, can't get it to go through contact. Dragon fans want a foul, they're not going to get it. There was a lot of contact on Bastian under the basket, but he does not get the call, and we'll make an 84-foot walk, and Yorktown will shoot free throws instead.
The only thing I would say to Kyle Bastian on that is I think there was enough contact to merit a foul call, but he went up expecting to get a foul called as opposed to expecting to make the basket, and if there was a whistle, then you might have a chance.
Moore misses the free throw. 32.8 seconds to go. The Dragons trail it by 5. Moore's second shot is good. That makes it a 6-point lead, and Matt Moulton wants a timeout. And this will be a full timeout, so we will take one as well. 32.8 seconds to go. Yorktown leads at 71-65. This is Dragon Basketball on newpalradio.com.
All-Star Turf Management is the best choice for the lawn you really want. Our superior lawn care services, including fertilizer, weed control, aerations, mowing, and more, are designed to improve and maintain your property season after season. Our combination of using the highest quality chemical products applied by educated, licensed professionals is what your property needs to become a place we both will be proud of. With flexible scheduling and service programs, we have a package that's right for your lawn and your budget. Locally owned and operated by Nathan Johnson, All-Star Turf Management is proud to support the New Palestine community and Dragon Athletics. To learn more or for a free estimate, call All-Star Turf Management at 861-1234 or visit myallstarlawn.com. That's 861-1234 or myallstarlawn.com for All-Star Turf Management.
Now, back to the action on newpalradio.com.
Dragons down 6, looking to inbound against full court pressure, and they do to Eli Stevens. He'll push it up with 30 seconds to go. Stevens, left side of the lane, puts up a runner off the side of the rim, no good. Yorktown with the rebound. That may have done it, as the Dragons had a lot of chances in this game, but I think that last minute really kind of, epitomizes the whole night. You get chances, they miss free throws, they turn it over, but the Dragons answer with some point-and-blank shots that just haven't been able to go down, and Yorktown's able to kind of take advantage, and they look like they're going to come away with a victory tonight.
Yeah, whoever put that board on top of the basket, shame on them tonight, because there have been some good looks that just have not gone down.
Grimm hits both free throws. 5 Tigers in double figures. They lead at 73-65. Nunnally is fouled in the backcourt by Evans. And so that'll stop the clock and allow Blaine Nunnally to go to the line to shoot a pair.
And that is not what Coach Matt Moulton wanted, because it opens the door ever so slightly.
Dragons down 8. It's a 3-possession game. Nunnally to the line to shoot a pair, and he misses the first, so it will remain a 3-possession game. So,
well, every time you think the door is opening, it closes back up.
That's been the story of the night for this Dragon team. Nunnally hits the second, or his 28th point. But it's still a 7-point deficit, and there's just 22 seconds left. This Dragon's running out of time. And likely, here we've got a whistle. 5-second violation. That was a pretty quick 5 seconds.
That was a very quick 5 seconds.
It's a 14th Yorktown turnover. So again, the door cracks open for the Dragons. Nunnally back in, Ian Stevens to trigger it in. And he will look into the corner to Nunnally. He'll catch, get his man in the air, launch a three, and hit it. And so a quick timeout called by Trent Whitaker. That is his final timeout, so New Palestine cannot stop the clock from here on out. 73-69 they trail. We will keep it here. It's been a heck of a night for Blaine Nunnally. And he's got 31 points now after that three, and you know it's not been for a lack of trying. It's just been it's just been just a little bit, you know, a missed shot here, a missed shot there, and you know, a 4-point swing here, and that's why you're in a 4-point hole here late in the game.
Yeah, they've just been a little bit off all night. You know, not everything clicking on all cylinders, not really any cylinders clicking together. That's been part of the problem. But you know, the effort has been there. It's just a matter of trying to, you know, finally get up over that ridge.
And the Dragons have cut the deficit to 4. That is as close as they have been really since the late stages of the first. They cut the deficit to 4 in the middle of the second quarter as well, or excuse me, the middle of the third, but then Yorktown quickly answered with 5 points to push its lead back up to 9. And Evans to inbound against full court pressure, and he gets it to Dunn, who is immediately fouled.
And that's fine. That was the right play. You know, you get a foul before the ball's even inbounded. You burn only a second there. You're going to need Yorktown to help a little bit, but you got what you needed from that possession.
Dunn is a 63% foul shooter. He's 2 for 3 tonight from the line, and he misses that one off the front of the rim. And so Nunnally in, Hockett out as Trent Whitaker is substituting offense-defense. It's a 4-point Yorktown lead. Again, if the Dragons score, they can't stop the clock. Dunn hits the second free throw. That's his 16th point. 5-point lead for the Tigers. Eli Stevens into the front court. Stevens down the lane, feeds underneath to Bastian, who lays it in. It's a 3-point game. Yorktown inbounds to Tawari, and he's immediately fouled with 7.7 seconds left. So if you're the Dragons, really what you have to have happen, because you cannot stop the clock, is Tawari's got to miss both free throws, and then you hit a three.
Right. There won't be 2 more possessions for you. You've got to get it here, and that's a tall ask.
Tawari is 2 for 4 tonight. He's an 85% foul shooter. He hits the first. That'll probably do it. That makes it a 75-71 game. So Tawari with one more. And he rattles this one in, 76-71. Dragons inbound to Stevens, crosses midcourt with 5, pulls up for a long three. It is no good, and Dunn gets the rebound, and the horn will sound, and the Yorktown Tigers come in and knock off the New Palestine Dragons, 76-71. Yorktown moves to 2-3 in the conference, 12-5 overall. The Dragons fall to 10-6, and they are now 3-2 in conference play. We will take a break. When we come back, we'll bring you the D&D Strictly Storage Best Insight Family Eye Care post-game show as the Dragons fall tonight 76-71 to the Yorktown Tigers. We'll be back right after this. This is Dragon Basketball on newpalradio.com. Our broadcast has been presented by All-Star Turf Management.
All-Star Turf Management is the best choice for the lawn you really want. Our superior lawn care services, including fertilizer, weed control, aerations, mowing, and more, are designed to improve and maintain your property season after season. Our combination of using the highest quality chemical products applied by educated, licensed professionals is what your property needs to become a place we both will be proud of. With flexible scheduling and service programs, we have a package that's right for your lawn and your budget. Locally owned and operated by Nathan Johnson, All-Star Turf Management is proud to support the New Palestine community and Dragon Athletics. To learn more or for a free estimate, call All-Star Turf Management at 861-1234 or visit myallstarlawn.com. That's 861-1234 or myallstarlawn.com for All-Star Turf Management. D&D Strictly Storage in New Palestine is your home for storage needs. D&D Strictly Storage offers a wide variety of storage sizes from 5 by 10 feet up to 10 by 30 feet. They also offer indoor and outdoor parking for your boats and RVs. Locally owned and operated by Don and Maria Blackwell, D&D Strictly Storage is who to call for your storage solution. They're located on County Road 400 West, just north of the railroad tracks in New Palestine. Call them at 861-9231. Again, that's 861-9231 for D&D Strictly Storage. Mention this ad and get your second month free with any rental.
Best in Sight Eye Care has been the leader of quality vision and eyewear in New Palestine for more than 20 years. Our experienced doctors, Tim Huffman, Mark Habig, and Colin Clairbout, use the most advanced state-of-the-art technology and eye care products available. At Best in Sight Eye Care, you will find professionals who are dedicated to providing exceptional personal service to everyone who walks through the door. We are conveniently located on Arbor Lane in New Palestine. Just follow US 52 west of Mount Comfort Road. To schedule your appointment, visit bestinsighteyecare.com or call 861-4100. Give your vision the level of care it deserves. Mention this ad for 10% off your glasses purchase.
You're listening to The Dragons on newpalradio.com.
It's time for the D&D Strictly Storage Best in Sight Family Eye Care post-game show. The New Palestine Dragons fall tonight 76-71 to the Yorktown Tigers. Along with Mike Petrie, I'm Andrew Smith, and we'll give you the final scoring numbers to begin this, and we will discuss the matchup and the way things transpired. It was a game the Dragons fell behind early and just never could quite get over the mountain as they trailed by 6 at the end of the first quarter. It fell down by 9 at halftime, and Yorktown pushed that lead to 13 early in the third. New Palestine got it to 4, but then Yorktown again answered with a run, pushed its lead back up to double digits. And every time the Dragons had a chance to get it inside 6 or 7, they'd miss an inside shot, they'd miss a free throw, have a turnover, something would happen. Yeah. And Yorktown would almost invariably immediately answer with a basket and flip it back up to a 9 or 11-point game. And that just seemed to be the night for the Dragons, but they fall tonight 76-71. Blaine Nunnally leads the way with 31 points. He scored 23 of those after halftime. He was 14 out of 16 from the line in this one. Steele Brassfield finished the night with 17 points. And probably also somewhat significantly missed the last 2.5 minutes as the Dragons were trying to mount that comeback attempt with an apparent ankle injury. Matthew Brown with 8 points, Kyle Bastian with 7, another good game for him. Ian Stevens with 4, Luke Burgess and Eli Stevens scored 2 each for the Dragons. They had 25 field goals, 4 of them were threes. They were 17 of 21 from the line. Yorktown had 24 field goals, 5 of them threes. They were 23 of 30 from the line. They were led by Carter Lovelace. He came into the game averaging 7 points a game, finished with 19, including 14 in the second half. His 10-point third quarter really, I thought, was the difference in the game. A.J. Dunn finished the night with 16. J.J. Evans with 14, nearly doubling his average. Kieran Tawari with 12, and Jacob Grimm, a freshman who came in averaging 3.9 points a game, scored 10 off the bench. Also Walker Moore with 5 points for the Tigers. Yorktown led at 19-13 after a quarter. 37-28 at halftime, 57-50 after 3, and 76-71 was the final. Yorktown wins it over New Palestine. And just kind of one of those nights, it's just not your night, and you kind of learn from it. And you've got a week now to get ready for your next game, which is Saturday afternoon, a week from tomorrow against Perry Meridian.
Yeah, as a player, there's nothing more you would hate than going into an 8-day break than having a tough loss like this. It's going to be a rough week of practice. every adjustment that New Pal made, Yorktown had an answer for tonight. I think the scoring was particularly interesting because in the first half it was J.J. Evans and A.J. Dunn that were causing the majority of the damage for Yorktown. In the second half, Jacob Grimm, he was fairly well split between the two, but then you talked about Carter Lovelace had 10 points in the third quarter and had 17 of his 19 in the second half. And Kieran Tawari had only 2 points at halftime. So he ends up in double figures.
Yeah, and that was the key. And, the Dragons had something going with the press. Yorktown was able to counter that and in the third quarter and kind of settled down a little bit after New Palestine had really dialed things up with its press and used that to force some turnovers to get back in the game. And then used a bit of a scramble defense in the fourth quarter, but Yorktown was always seemingly able to find the open man. And really, I think probably the big moment, up 8, the Dragons had just missed an opportunity, and then Yorktown was able to, with the Dragons trapping, trying to force some havoc, find Tawari open in the corner, and he knocked down his second 3 of the game. And that really was kind of the dagger and just a little bit deficit too far for this New Palestine team.
Absolutely. I think the freshman guards in particular ability to handle the pressure along with sophomore A.J. Dunn was a big differentiator tonight because, a lot of times you get a team that's not, again, they were not used to playing at the pace they played tonight. They were not used to being ahead by 10 points, you saw them waver a little bit in some spots, but then inevitably Tawari would hit a shot or Lovelace would hit a shot, and when that happened, it just steadied their nerves, and they were able to absorb whatever pressure came after that.
Yeah, and Yorktown, this is not the same team that Yorktown's been putting out for the last several years. And, New Palestine, this is, for most of the conference, this for the last few years was a game you could generally count on.
Yeah.
As it's been a program that had gone through some lean years, some rebuilding, and you could kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel last year, but this team is going to be a problem for the rest of the conference for the next several years because you look at the guys who are scoring tonight. Grimm had 10. He's a freshman. Tawari had 12. He's a freshman. Mason Moulton's a freshman, gave them some good minutes. A.J. Dunn at 16. He's their leading scorer. He's a sophomore. And then Carter Lovelace is a junior. He's got another year left and looks like a really solid post player who can step out and knock down some shots from the outside. This is a difficult team to guard, and they're going to cause a lot of havoc. Obviously, they're sectional in Class 3A, but also they're going to be a load for the conference to deal with for the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, all the guys that you mentioned, I kind of come away going, how are they only averaging 50 points a game coming into tonight? Because they're not only are they can beat you in so many different ways that it's, if only 2 or 3 of the guys are hitting at any given night, you're still in business.
And so Coach Trent Whitaker, I think, still in the locker room chatting with the guys. So we'll just continue here for a minute here on the D&D Strictly Storage Best in Sight Family Eye Care postgame show. And Mike, we got Coach Whitaker about to join us here, and so we'll chat with him here momentarily, and then we'll give you some scores elsewhere in the conference. And so, we'll chat here with the head coach of the Dragons here momentarily. Trent Whitaker, as the Dragons fall tonight 76-71 to the Yorktown Tigers. And Coach, first of all, kind of a tough loss. It's difficult when you're chasing the game and chasing the score as they kind of got you on your heels early, and you were able to make some plays, but it just seemed like every time you were about to break through and get the deficit to 4 or 2, you'd have a point-blank shot, and it wouldn't go down.
They made plays tonight, and unfortunately, we just didn't come out of the gate very well tonight. We were going to have to definitely fix that, but defensively, I think this is probably one of the worst defensive games we've played. We talk all the time, you got to keep the basketball in front of you, and we did not do that tonight. You got to give them credit for coming in and moving the basketball. That team right there is going to be good for the next, I don't know how many years. They are a very young team, and they're believing right now. And I think we talked last week about just you got to have confidence, you got to believe, and they definitely got that going.
Yeah, I would say there's a few things more dangerous than a young team that has started to kind of find its confidence, and they certainly did tonight. And how difficult was it after that early start when they took that early lead for you to just basically settle down and really get into an offensive rhythm?
It was an uphill battle the whole time. Every time they had an answer offensively for us, and they had some kids step up tonight. I mean, give those guys credit. They, a couple of those guys aren't three-point shooters, but we left them open for a reason. But they knocked them down. So you got to give them credit. We battled, but the biggest thing we've got to do is we've got to learn from it, and that's what we got to do as coaches, and that's what we got to do as players, and we got to be mature and move on. The road doesn't get any easier. I think we kind of had a schedule early in the season that we took advantage of, and it's going to be a tough road.
Yeah, and it's kind of a schedule here, the last 6 games of the regular season, that is going to really prepare you for that first week in March that we talk about. But tonight, Blaine Nunnally, especially after Steele went down, but even before that, it was somebody that, as you needed points, he seemed to be the guy that took things on his shoulders and made a lot of plays for you tonight.
Yeah, I mean, he settled in. He didn't have a great start to the first half. I think he struggled a little bit, but second half he came back, and we had to attack. We didn't shoot the ball again very well from three-point line. 4 of 16. You can't win many basketball games shooting that percentage, and I don't know if we don't have the right guys taking them or just they're not taking them at the right time. But we got to watch a little film, look at that, and go from there.
Well, now I guess the good thing is you've got an 8-day break. That may feel like a vacation after the last 8 days, but this is a good week to really kind of gear up for this last month of the season with some time off before you face Perry Meridian next weekend.
Definitely we're going to take the next 3 days off. We've been at it for 5 games and 8 nights or whatever, so unfortunately it just didn't get this last one. We really wanted that to take 3 days off, and but we're going to go ahead and take it off. I mean, the kids need that rest and get their legs back underneath them for the final stretch.
Well, Coach Trent Whitaker, thanks for joining us, and we'll
Thanks,
talk
guys.
to you next week. So it's Trent Whitaker, the head coach of the new Palestine Dragons. Tonight, after this contest against the Yorktown Tigers, the Tigers come away with a 76-71 victory. We'll bring Mike Petrie back in. And Mike, you've got some scores from around the conference. We'll pass it over to you for the out-of-town scoreboard portion of the D&D Strictly Storage Best Insight Family Eye Care postgame show.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the another HHC game, as you mentioned, going to impact the standings a little bit. Greenfield Central comes away with a victory at home. They defeat Pendleton Heights 66-63. Some other teams from the conference that were in action, out-of-conference action, Delta defeats Wapahani 51-43. Mount Vernon continues their impressive run. They win 51-35 over Connorsville. And 2 future out-of-conference opponents for the Dragons. Greenwood wins the Battle of the South Side over Perry Meridian 43-37.
Yeah, that will be the Dragons' tour of the Mid-State Conference. Will continue against those 2 teams. And also, Shelbyville had a big win over Newcastle early tonight as well. So that lets us reset the conference standings. Mount Vernon and Delta play tomorrow, and now they have a 2-game lead. So whoever wins that game will be in the driver's seat for the conference race, as Mount Vernon's 4-0, Delta's 3-0. The Dragons now 3-2 in league play. Shelbyville is 2-2. Greenfield Central 3-3. Yorktown 2-3. Newcastle is 1-4, and Pendleton Heights now 0-4. And Dragons have this 3-2 record. 2 conference games remaining. February 12th at Shelbyville, and then February 19th here against Mount Vernon to close out conference play. And right now, I think obviously you can win the HHC title with 2 losses. The Dragons did that last year. They won it outright with 2 losses, as a matter of fact. But it is rare, and obviously, what you're probably hoping is that Mount Vernon can probably win tomorrow, lose somewhere along the line. You beat Mount Vernon, then in Delta loses another game as well, and you can maybe hope for a three-way tie atop the league standings. That's not likely, but, I think for the Dragons right now, your focus goes from the conference, and obviously you want to finish as high as in the conference as you can, but your focus really goes toward using these last 6 games to prepare for the first week of March when they travel to the Tiernan Center in Richmond.
Yeah, absolutely. Now it's less about wins and losses in the individual game and more about getting your team ready for what you're going to face in sectionals. But quite honestly, wins and losses in that period of time, it won't tell you everything, but it'll tell you a lot because you're going to be facing a fair amount of these same opponents. Without looking way too far ahead at it, Mount Vernon's the team that you expect to be your foil in the sectional pretty much year in, year out regardless. I mean, that's the team that probably, of these 6-7 teams, you write down New Pal and Mount Vernon as the 2 biggest for opponents to top anyway. And I think it's especially true this year. Mount Vernon is your competition, so you're going to get a good look at them.
Yeah, and so that's going to be the case. Obviously, they don't see Anderson or Muncie Central during the year. Both of those teams are really struggling this season. Yeah. They did see Richmond, and then the rest of the sectionals conference teams, Pendleton Heights, Mount Vernon, Greenfield Central, all teams you've seen, all teams you know. And so it's going to be a really balanced tournament, but that's still obviously several weeks away. You've got a pretty tough stretch. Perry Meridian, a good team on the south side. You've got a really good team in Greenwood that is a defending sectional champ to bookend the season.
Yeah.
A couple conference teams in Mount Vernon and Shelbyville. You've got Connorsville and another good mid-state team in Whiteland. And so this is a really solid 6-game closing stretch for New Palestine that can really maybe set the tone for them as they get ready. But I think for now, you take a little break and then you get ready for Perry Meridian on Saturday. And an odd start time. It's an afternoon game, but that's going to be your next opportunity, and you're going to face a good team in a week.
Yeah, and you've got to take every opportunity to get better at this point. And, what really a lot of it kind of left unsaid from it is, hoping Steele Brasfield feels better. It looks rough. It always looks rough. Ankle injuries always look bad because you – can't put any weight on it, but obviously, best wishes in terms of that.
Yeah, and certainly hope he is okay. And as he went down, and it was an apparent ankle injury, that certainly was what they were looking at.
And he had that pretty well iced as he was walking off. He had some help from his friend Matthew Brown walking off the court. So hopefully hopefully that heals and he is fine, but. Unfortunately for the Dragons, they fall tonight 76-71 to the Yorktown Tigers. A late comeback attempt falls short. So our next broadcast will be Wednesday. Girls basketball sectional commences from the venerable Muncie Fieldhouse. The Dragons taking on the Anderson Indians in a rematch of last year's sectional championship game. And we'll have the broadcast for you on newpalradio.com, radio only, on Wednesday at 6 p.m., 5:55. We'll be on the air for girls basketball sectional play. And then the next boys basketball broadcast and our next YouTube broadcast as well will be next Saturday when the Dragons take on the Perry Meridian Falcons. That will be a 1:30 varsity tip-off. Mike and I will be with you at about 1:25 for that one. Mike, your final thoughts this evening? Well, it's disappointing for a lot of on a lot of levels. It's been a fun and exciting run of basketball, and now you kind of got to go back into training camp mode.
Yeah. And that's what the Dragons will do. They fall tonight 76-71 to the Yorktown Tigers. And so on that note, we'll say a good night. So long, everybody. Our final score again, Yorktown 76, Dragons 71. We'll talk to you again on a Wednesday night from the Muncie Fieldhouse in the girls basketball sectional at 5:55 p.m. For Mike Petrie, I'm Andrew Smith. We'll talk to you on Wednesday. This has been a presentation of the Crosscom Sports Network and newpalradio.com. And we want to thank all of our sponsors. Thank you for listening as well. And also thank the New Palestine High School Athletic Department for their assistance, especially on the video side of our broadcasts. We'll talk to you later. This is Dragon Basketball. This